Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, and welcome to our newest episode of The Oscar Goes To. I'm Jan Michael.
And I'm Melinda.
And today we're going to be taking another look at A Beautiful Mind. Let's begin.
John Nash was one of the most brilliant minds of his generation.
Welcome to Princeton. Who among you will be the next Einstein?
Find a truly original idea, and it's the only way I will ever distinguish myself. It's the only way I will ever matter.
A Beautiful Mind is the 74th film to ever win Best Picture at the Oscars. At the time of its release, it was very well received by both critics and audiences. Though it did premiere at the box office at the number 12 spot, it quickly rose up the ranks, making it all the way to number 2 in its second week. Now, before we jump into the film itself, Melinda, I want to turn it to you. Tell the wonderful audience at home, in your own wonderful words, what is A Beautiful Mind all about?
The movie is about a gentleman who is highly intellectual, but is suffering from a mental disability. Not a disability, more like delusions. Onset from, I think they had said it was schizophrenia. So it's just a story about a man and his struggles and how they bring it to an audience that's not familiar with someone suffering from such a debilitating.
The man himself is John Nash, which is a real figure for those of you who do not know. This is essentially his life story, starting off in college, working his way up into the job that he gets, meeting his wife, getting married, all that sort of stuff, and just how he handles this disability, if you will. Good thing to really note, though, the movie does portray the disability as a visionary kind of delusion, but that is not actually true. The real John Nash actually suffered more auditory delusion. So he would hear the voices, he wouldn't necessarily see the people, but obviously that probably wouldn't make for good movie telling. At least
it's all about visuals.
Yeah,
so.
At least not that Ron Howard, the director, could figure out. So on that note, keep that in mind while watching it. There is Hollywoodization all over this film, which we will talk about momentarily here. Now, before we jump into the specifics of the Oscar categories themselves, let's talk a little bit about what we generally liked about the film, what we generally disliked about the film. Melinda, starting off with you, is this a film that you gravitated towards? Was it okay, or did you just not care about it whatsoever?
Upon watching it the second run, I found that I liked it better. I don't know if I just have a need to know what's coming to better understand the film. I did like the younger days that he had in college when he was starting to begin the struggle before it had all accumulated to this really disastrous point in his life where it became basically uncontrollable. I think it was more endearing, his relationship with the girl that he falls in love with, the fear that you get when his child is getting a bath from the dad and he kind of neglects him in some way. So could have turned into a tragedy, which is one of my anxieties on a personal level. So I feel like the movie was a lot better. I do think that I would probably recommend it more than I did the first time around.
Okay, yeah, definitely. On my end, I still kind of hold true to what I've thought the first time around, and that's that the movie's okay. It's not a bad film. I don't want to make it seem like this is a terrible film by any means, that you shouldn't go out and watch it. In fact, I think anyone who puts it on is going to have a good time with it. Whether you're into the subject matter or not, you're going to find something interesting about it. The acting is really good here. I do think it's an interesting story. I think it's just way too Hollywoodized. There's so many facets of this man's life that is just cut out completely, almost because they don't want to make him out to be a bad guy. And in many respects, he did do bad things in life. Like, he cheated on his wife multiple times, which the movie just completely ignores. And you can't have that, because then the audiences aren't gonna like your hero and things of that nature. So they try to make him like this tragic figure where he can't help doing what he's doing because he has this disability, and poor him, and you got to be on his side, and why can't everybody else understand? And to me, that's just BS, right? Nobody's life really is that way, no matter what. We're all going to do things that we're not proud of in our past, and I think they should have showed that more front and center throughout the film and let us make our own conclusion on it instead of, it's a film where, oh my God, he's tragic. Can't talk about any of his negative aspects, though, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way. But again, the movie on its own is fine. Like, you're going to enjoy it. I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's a waste of time. If anything, it opens up the possibility for you to further out and go do research on this man. So there's that for you at least. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the Oscar nominations themselves. If you're new here, what I do is I go through every single category that the movie was nominated for, whether it won, whether it didn't. We're not comparing whether it should have won to who did. If it won, is it worthy of it? We're just talking about the aspects of the film that were nominated, though I will mention all the other nominees as well. So we're starting off with film editing. The nominees for this year were A Beautiful Mind, Black Hawk Down, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Memento, and Moulin Rouge. The winner here being Black Hawk Down. Melinda, in terms of film editing, tell the audience, what did you think about the editing in the film, whether it's worthy of the nomination or not?
I think so. Watching the film, I did understand it better when you pointed out that the editing was also including like him not really speaking to people that were there, but then filming it in a way that you couldn't tell that. I don't remember any parts that seemed like hard cuts or those weird like transitions offhand. So I think for what I remember of the film, since I don't remember anything very particular about it in that sense, I think they probably did a good job.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I noticed things a lot more this time. I think this might be like my fourth time watching this film, and I definitely picked up on more of the subtlety of the editing, which some people consider editing to be, it should be more of a subtle art, so you shouldn't be noticing the editing in the film. I personally like flashy editing, so I don't mind when you do notice the editing, as long as it's not overly distracting. But here, as I was mentioning and you brought up, there's a lot of really cool like cuts, the way that it looks like he's just talking to himself. And if it's your first time watching the movie and you may not understand that he does have this disability, the way that it's kind of cut, you won't notice those things where, oh, all of a sudden he is talking to somebody, but the way that the film is kind of set up at first is just there's nobody there. And I think those things are actually really nice touches that you notice on repeat watches. So in that sense, yeah, I do think the editing is subtle to the point that they did really think about what they were doing with their shots and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm totally on board with this getting a nomination. Again, if you just watched it for the first time, you may not notice those subtleties, but I think on repeat watches, you'll pick up on those things a lot more. And I think that's really where the, I don't want to say brilliance, but the cleverness, I would say. Yeah, the technique of the editing comes into play. So yeah, kudos to them for coming up with all those things. Next up, we have makeup. The nominees this year were A Beautiful Mind, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge. The winner here being The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Melinda, was A Beautiful Mind robbed here? Should it have won makeup? What did you think of it?
Not to me. No, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if their makeup reference is more specifically the aging part. The rest of it was just, daily life makeup. But I cannot think if the makeup was any good for the aging. I tried to think back on his older scenes, and I know I was really distracted by him not being old or sounding old.
Yeah.
So I think that also took away from the illusion. So maybe I couldn't really see the effort put in from the makeup since I couldn't get the whole picture.
Yeah, there are certain aspects of the makeup that I do enjoy. Like, there's the scene where he's kind of breaking down on the college campus. Like, that scene where he's like walking around, and the people are talking, and the colors just drain from his face. He has this like ghostly white look. And that, I thought, man, that makeup looks really good. He looks like he's drained of color, right? That's makeup. It almost looks like he's sick there. And those little subtle touches, great. But yeah, the old people makeup just doesn't work, and it doesn't work because it's so stiff. I mentioned this while we were watching the film, but there's that scene where Russell is walking along with another old man. Like, they're supposed to both be old men. He's like being told, oh, you're going to be given the Nobel Peace Prize. And as they're walking, it's like Russell Crowe is like doing like the old man thing, where he's really kind of shoveling along, or if you will, like shambling along, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then the guy next to him, who looks like he's almost older than he is walking all fine. I'm like, yeah, old people don't all walk like this, like, I don't know.
23,
yeah, I don't know. That's obviously like a young person interpreting what an old person walks like or talks like, and those were the things that were kind of distracting. So yeah, that's part Russell himself, but the makeup doesn't help because it is kind of so stiff, and especially Jennifer Connelly in those final scenes where she's like as still as possible. I don't know if that they told her to do that just because we don't want the makeup to
the paper mache will fall
oh
off.
yeah, and it's like you could see like they just drew the old people lines. It's just like it truly looks like young people in old people makeup. So it's too distracting. I don't think the makeup needed to get nominated whatsoever. But I don't know, maybe things were different back then. But no, because Lord of the Rings had great makeup and it won.
Yes.
So I don't know. That's
Case
me.
in point.
Makeup did not deserve the nomination, in my opinion.
That there were only 3 movies nominated, so I
Yeah.
guess they were scarce for
Well, at the
nominating.
time, the makeup category only really had 3 nominations. It wasn't until later on that they expanded. Animated feature film was like that as well. They only had like 3 nominees at first before it expanded. So that itself is not that they couldn't find other things. I think they were just limited by what they can put in the category. But
So
yeah.
paper mache
Oh
old
my god,
people.
with three spots, I feel like you could have found something else. So it didn't need the nomination. All right, we're moving on to the original score category. The nominees this year were AI, Artificial Intelligence, A Beautiful Mind, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Monsters, Inc. The winner here being The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Melinda, did AI make you laugh there for a second?
Yeah, I forgot about that movie. It was so long.
Yeah. Anyways, what did you think of the score to A Beautiful Mind?
I'll be honest, like my worst category, I don't quite remember too much. I think, well, you just played something not too long ago, so probably just whimsical.
Is this the type of movie that screams, it needs a whimsical score?
Well, it's like a weird, heavy whimsical. Like, it's loud for its sense. I don't know how to explain it.
It's magical. That's what I get from it. I don't know why they went this route, if I'm being completely honest.
They had Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings to contend
Well,
with.
but they didn't know what those scores were going to be beforehand. But yeah, I don't know why they decided to go whimsical with this. And the main theme, the one that I was playing for you, was the one where whenever he's solving the mathematical equations, it's whimsy, it's wonderful, and like, oh my god, and the numbers are jumping out, and you just need all this score to make it sound so ingenious.
It reminds me of Edward Scissorhands with the snow.
Yes,
Like,
except that film actually warranted the whimsy. Here it's like, I don't know, maybe
it's the magic of math.
Yeah.
You don't know.
math magic. Oh my god, the perfect harmony. Look, it's not a bad score by any means. It's just kind of an odd score to go along with the film. Like, I could see this being part of, like, an Edward Scissorhands, right? Like a whimsical story of magic or
Madness.
yeah, or madness, something crazy, right? And I don't feel it works here. Like if you want to talk about the madness of his disability, but you don't really get the song when he's like suffering from those bouts. The whimsy is not in those scenes. It's when he's stuck in his like the actual delusions, or when he's actually solving mathematical problems. So I don't know. To me, I guess the nomination is fine. Again, it's not a bad score. I don't know. I don't think it fits the movie my personally. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not angry at this nomination, so it can stay. I'm just glad it didn't go home with the win.
What about AI?
Oh, I don't even remember the score to AI. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid, so yeah.
No one's seen it since they were
Yeah. Next is the writing category, and as the Oscars still had not learned their lesson, the title to this one is incredibly long. It's screenplay based on material previously produced or published. It's just the adapted screenplay. It was adapted from something else, so that's all you need to know. And again, I just don't know why the Oscars took so long to figure out the naming convention to this, so
No ChatGPT to.
yeah, I guess not. Anyways, the nominees this year were A Beautiful Mind, Ghost World, In the Bedroom, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Shrek. The winner here being A Beautiful Mind. Melinda, Beautiful Mind finally won one. Was this win worthy? Was the screenplay deserving of the Oscar?
What was it adapted from?
It's based off a book that also told the life of John Nash.
Probably should have read it.
What?
Probably should have read it.
Oh.
Like, maybe it would be something to compare to. Sometimes it's nice to know where it came from.
Okay.
To see how it compares. Writing. I guess it was alright. I mean, the story flowed. The pieces connected. Ron Howard had a hand in putting it together, so I guess it was alright.
Yeah, it's all right. I guess that's accurate. It's full of whimsy, very much like the score itself. It just like there are some nice moments throughout. I like the line where Jennifer Connelly, like John Nash, Russell Crowe proposes to her, but it's like in his own weird dorky way, and she says the line where it's like, oh, let me readjust my girlish notions of romance, something like that. That's a great line. But then you have stupid stuff like, if you look at the trailer, they have this line, and I don't know if it was in the movie itself, but it's a line that says something like, oh, it's not enough to have a beautiful mind. You also have to have a beautiful heart. And I'm like, oh god, that's so painful to listen to. And there are moments like that in the movie where I'm like, what the fuck? Why would they do that?
It's Ron Howard.
Yeah, it's the whimsiness of it. So yeah, it's balanced, I guess, in a way where there are some really good stuff, but there's also some really sappy, like, oh my god, I'd be embarrassed to read these lines stuff. So make that what you will. I probably wouldn't vote for it to win, but sure, you want to nominate it, go right ahead. It's fine, I guess. It's
probably because they use a bunch of like big words in small doses, so
yeah.
Like, oh man, that's a complicated word they used there.
I will say,
Russell Crowe.
yeah. Well, I will say this. I know the math in the film is all accurate. So in terms of the mathematical jargon, from my understanding, even mathematicians who saw the film were applauding what they did with it. So
Maybe that's why.
Maybe
that
that's
was the missing block I have, because I don't understand it.
Yeah. So yeah, sure. In that case, sure. Why not? They did adapt it in a way that didn't make it seem boring and
gibberish.
Yeah, it let us normies understand the high bar that these math geniuses understand. So there you go. Kudos to the script for that.
We found it.
We found the reason for it. All right, we're moving on to the performances now, beginning with supporting actress. The nominees this year were Jennifer Connelly for A Beautiful Mind, Helen Mirren for Gosford Park, Maggie Smith for Gosford Park, Marissa Tomei for In the Bedroom, and Kate Winslet for Iris. The winner here being Jennifer Connelly for A Beautiful Mind. Melinda, what did you think of Jennifer Connelly's performance? Was she worthy of the nomination and the win, or was this, they chose wrong this year?
I like Jennifer Connelly in general.
Mm.
It's not like this was a role that was like out there or like actiony, where it wasn't like anything that seems like a stretch for her. Everyday woman going through some struggles. That's just her MO. So, I mean, she's doing what she always does. So she seemed natural in it up until she got old. Then she didn't know what to do because she'd never been old. She's like, it was standstill.
She would work well in that role now, I guess.
Yes,
So.
now. But
I mean, not that she's like old, but she's older, so.
rude.
Anyway. But she'll understand, like, oh yeah, I can still move. I could have moved. I could have smiled.
Then they'd be like, you're acting too young.
Yeah. Old people don't smile. Stop that. This is another one of a mixed bag. Like, the first half of it is fine. It's just her being her. The only thought process is, man, this girl, like, she really wants this guy, because I tell you what, as soon as, like, he started talking and being very antisocial or saying weird things, I'd be like, I'm noping out of this relationship. So
Yes.
for her to stick with it, like, man, good on her. Once it gets to the whole, like, she understands what's going on with him, and she's, you know, choosing to kind of stay with him, and she's being hurt by the experience as well, and she's crying, and, you know, she's at the end of her rope. That's really where her acting chops come into play, and I think she does a fantastic job there. So those are the scenes that really sell her win, if you will. If you needed, like, some justification for it, those are the scenes, and I think they work very well. And it's not like she's, like, you know, like, perfect, like, she's gonna put up with everything. Like, there are scenes where she's talking about, like, oh, you know, I have to pretend I have to love my husband and things like that. And so, you know, her character is complex-ish. I just wish they had kind of gone further with it. Again, this is where the whole, if they had shown John Nash's whole life, him cheating on his wife, why they chose to kind of stay together, right? Like, really piling it up on top, I think that would have been so much more impactful for her, and maybe make her win stand out all the more. But with what she's given, I think she does an admirable job. Yes, the old portion of it's just, it doesn't work. I don't buy it. But it really is like the last, I don't know, 10-15 minutes of the film, so I'm not going to completely say she doesn't deserve it just for the old portion of it. Where it counts, it counts. So yeah, I'm fine here. I wouldn't probably have chosen her. I would have gone with someone else, but I'm not angry that she won.
Yeah, you're right. You reminded me, like, the baby scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was really stressful, and she actually did a good job with that. So I did underplay her. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure she'll forgive you. And of course, we got to move on to leading actor. So the nominees this year being Russell Crowe for A Beautiful Mind, Sean Penn for I Am Sam, Will Smith for Ali, Denzel Washington for Training Day, and Tom Wilkinson for In the Bedroom. The winner here being Denzel Washington for Training Day. Now, Melinda, this one's actually quite interesting because with Russell Crowe, he had just won in this exact same category last year for Gladiator. So people fathom that the reason he didn't win this year is because he had just won. Do you think that's a fair assessment, or do you feel like he was robbed of the win this year because he was really good in this film? Or, you know, we're fine. It was just an okay performance.
Yeah, I don't know about all that because I wasn't there to live those moments or watch those movies like that. But I think his performance was good. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I know I say it like a question mark, but it was good. Like, he tried his best.
Yes.
He couldn't hit every target, but he tried.
Yeah.
He did a lot better than Les Mis. Let me just tell you. So,
I think he had
pretty
given
much-
up on with.
He was just like a sad face.
He didn't have to sing in this film.
Thank
Born in New Zealand in 64, a hot-headed actor named Russell Crowe. He loves to act, but he loves one thing more: fighting round the world. He fights his directors and he fights his fans. It's a problem no one understands. If there's two things he loves, it's fighting and fighting round the world. Making movies, making music, and fighting round the world. Russell Crowe.
But he would have tried.
Yes, he would have.
But no, I think he was fine. I feel like Denzel is a really good actor. I didn't watch Training Day, but I imagine if he won, it was well deserved.
Mm.
For this one, I wouldn't have given it to him. Gladiator, sure. Yeah, Gladiator was a lot better from my standpoint, from his acting abilities.
Okay.
But you know, he did a good enough job. He got through that jargon, mathematical jargon, pretty well. So you can't take away from what he did.
Yeah, I probably would have rather he won here than in Gladiator, if I'm being completely honest, and that's mostly because I'm not a huge fan of Gladiator, but I get there's enough of a stumble here where this is not his fault, but there's a lot of scenes where he's just staring at the numbers and they're supposed to be swirling around in his head, but obviously that's all done post, you know, like film being done, like in the editing portion of it. Like, so he's just got to stand there looking kind of derpy, like, oh, my numbers, oh, and it's not a good
Like
look.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. So, I don't know, those type of things are kind of silly to me. Plus the old man, I'm sorry, but just, like...
It's not his forte.
No, but it was nobody's forte, let's say that. Because it wasn't like he failed alone, he failed together with Jennifer in that regard.
Down, swinging.
Yeah, but he did have a lot of really good moments in the film. Like him breaking down, like I said, in that college campus scene where he's like getting the colors out of his face, he's arguing with the people, with the fictional people all around him. He's like almost having like a mental breakdown when he is kind of portraying like the schizophrenic portion of him, like in the insane asylum, I guess you would call it. I don't know, but like there are moments where he does such a really good job with it, and he does have like certain mannerisms where I don't know if like the actual John Nash had those same mannerisms, but if they did, hey, good on him. He did a really good job with it. So I like this performance. I would have given him the win. Much more so than Gladiator. I thought Gladiator, he was just an action hero. That's all he is in that one. But that's me. If you want to point to the little negatives of it and say, no, I wouldn't give it to him because of these, fine, I get it, I understand. I'm not going to argue, like, those little negatives.
I don't have that much, like, investment in this to argue his face.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight with you, because you're right. Those are moments that are distracting. But I do think the good moments far outweigh those negatives, in my opinion. And moving on to the penultimate category, we got directing. The nominees here were Ron Howard for A Beautiful Mind, Ridley Scott for Black Hawk Down, Robert Altman for Gosford Park, Peter Jackson for The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and David Lynch for Mulholland Drive. The winner here being Ron Howard for A Beautiful Mind. Don't worry, Peter Jackson, you'll get yours in just like 2 years' time. So, Melinda, what did you think of the directing from Ron Howard? Was it amazing? Was it stupendous? Was it worthy of the win? Please tell us your thoughts here.
Little Ronnie Howard.
Aww.
He does his best, and he definitely has a vibe to his movies, let me just say. I think he did the best he could with the vision he has as a person. And I think that sometimes it doesn't quite fit the script. So I think the first part is good because that is his style of like storytelling, right? Like growing up, life changes kind of thing. I think he did well with like the tormented parts that he could get out of the actors, right? He got a lot out of Russell Crowe. He got a lot out of the girl. What's her name?
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly. Don't tell her I forgot.
She's not forgiving you anymore.
It's okay. It's fine. I get one. And I think he just tried to make a movie that ends on a happy note, has, you know, the basic Hollywood like recipe. I like his style for other movies. I didn't particularly think it blended well with this one. But that's all I have to say on that. That's my thoughts on it.
All I can think of is the episode of The Studio where Seth Rogen is talking to Ron Howard, and it's like he had suggested to Ron Howard that like, oh, it would be so much better if everybody knew the twist of the film beforehand. And Ron Howard's like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Not a note so much as an idea. Yeah.
You got a note for me like you had on Beautiful Mind?
You remember that?
Yeah, I sure do. How could I ever forget? It's like seared into my brain. Oh man, it's a great story. All right, look, I know we're in a meeting, but who wants to hear a really funny story? Yeah. I mean, come on. Everybody loves a story about their boss.
I don't know about that. We got stuff to do.
I love the studio, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Anyways, yeah, to me, it's just too safe. That's the biggest problem here. From the decisions of not including like the full real life of John Nash,
The dirt.
yeah,
crime.
to making it overly whimsical, like, oh my god, this is a fairy tale. Look at the magic that this mathematician anyway had. Like the numbers are jumping up out of it, and it just looks kind of silly, especially by today's standards. I'm sure back then, and heck, I should know, I guess, like that whimsy was all over the place. Like the 90s, the 2000s, like that whimsy was front and center in a lot of things, and people really like that whimsy. I just don't think it ultimately is very impactful. I do like the scenes of the torment, like you just said. He really did make you feel for Russell Crowe's character, for Jennifer Connelly's character. You know, you see that they are wrestling with these turmoils, right? And it's not an easy answer of, well, I'm just gonna leave, or I can't just get better. It's either I have to learn to live with this, or I gotta take this medicine that's gonna impair my genius. So there's no easy answers, and those portions of it, the way that it was structured in those regards, very well done. I also like that they kept it secret that these, you know, figments of his imagination were that until about midway through the film. So again, if you did not know the life of this person, what's the thing that's really impactful here? It's not just, oh, this is what he contributed to the mathematical world. He contributed while also having to deal with these problems, and he dealt with them pretty much his whole life, from figuring them out to, you know, the end of his life, which at the time of the film he had not passed away yet, but you know, sadly he has now. So in that regard, there are some really good things here. I just, as a whole, it's too safe. It's okay. I don't mind the nomination. I just definitely would not have given him the win personally. So yeah.
Richie Cunningham didn't cut it for you?
No, not today. Sorry, man. And I think this is his only chance to win. So if he hadn't won for this one, he wasn't gonna win for any other piece of work. So sorry, but
eulogy?
No. Anyways, that's all I got with him. And of course, we gotta talk about Best Picture. The nominees this year were A Beautiful Mind, Gosford Park, In the Bedroom, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge. The winner, of course, we're talking about it. Yes, of course, is A Beautiful Mind. So we've talked about the individual aspects. We talked about what we don't like about the film. As a whole, does it work? I know you said you would recommend it. How strong of a recommendation is that? And do you think it was worthy of winning Best Picture?
It's a recommendation of, you got nothing else to watch, you should check out A Beautiful Mind on a Thursday or something.
Yeah, it's always weird to say, do you recommend this? Because it's not like I'm gonna go up to like my buddies at work and go like, have you seen A Beautiful Mind? You gotta get on that shit, right? And there are past Oscar Best Picture winners that I would definitely do that with. Definitely wouldn't do that with this one. They would look at me straight and be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's more like one of those movies I would watch on TBS on like a Thursday night as a kid because it was on, and there'd be commercials, and I'd probably change the channel and forget to go back. So then I'd be like, I wonder how that movie ended. But it's good. It's good enough.
Yeah.
You won't waste time. You'll watch a movie. You'll learn something about a guy named Nash. It won't be accurate in any way, but you can pretend that you know something.
Yeah, this is another one of those films, kind of like what I said last time with Annie Hall, where I think if it wasn't for the Oscar win, I don't think people would remember the film all that much. I mean, this one probably a little bit more so because, I mean, it's technically an older film now, but not as old as like Annie Hall. But yeah, how many people are really going back and seeing A Beautiful Mind? I don't think a lot of people are. So that's just me personally, but Yeah, the movie's fine. You know, if somebody's like, "Hey, should I go see this?" Sure. You know, it's not a bad film. Again, I was saying this at the top of the video. It's not a bad movie. It's not a terrible movie. It's fine, right? I'm thinking anybody that's gonna watch it is gonna have a good enough time, even if you're not into the subject matter, you don't know anything about it. You're gonna find elements to gravitate towards, even if you don't overly love the film. I just, again, there's too many things holding it back from greatness in my eyes, and I think it could have been so much more than what we got as the final product, and that's the biggest shame here. So I personally would not have voted for this to win Best Picture. I don't think it deserves to win Best Picture. Am I angry that it won Best Picture? Not really. Like, this is one of those whatevers. Like, fine, it won, it's a done deal, we could just move on and not think about it anymore. Except for when we talk about these reviews.
I am angry.
You are
Peter
angry?
Jackson didn't win.
He gets his, that's why I said he gets his flowers 2 films from now.
Compared to the 2 movies and the heart and dedication that Peter Jackson took kidnapping actors for little to no pay across the continent.
They got a trip to New Zealand. That was win enough of its own.
They got sold to slavery for 3 years and then they escaped.
You know, if he hadn't won for the 3rd film, or if this movie had just won and we had no idea what the future was going to bring, probably I'd be a lot more angrier. But now in hindsight, knowing what we know now, I'm not ultimately that angry about it, because I'm like, okay, Peter Jackson's gonna get his dues, and he's gonna get his dues. Like, that 3rd film, like, holy smokes, that one did fantastic. So, yeah, in that regards, whatever. But, again, A Beautiful Mind, take it or leave it. Yeah, take it or leave it. But that's all I gotta say there. Alright, before we wrap up, we gotta give the film a score. Again, if you are new here, this score is out of 5, though it can have points, so you can have 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, whatever have you. And then, since this is our 2nd video in the series, we're also going to rank in what order we put these films. Individually, of course. So Melinda will give hers, I'll give mine. On that end, Melinda, take it away. What score would you give A Beautiful Mind?
You're really making us work this time, right?
Oh, yes.
I would give it a 3. I think it's, again, middle of the road. Can't go wrong. You won't lose it in your life. And since 3 is lower than 3.5, goes under Annie Hall. Okay. But I feel like emotionally, I would put it above Annie Hall. I really don't like that one compared to this one.
On a being a good person ranking, I would put A Beautiful Mind above Annie Hall. You know what? Maybe once Woody Allen passes away, then we can put it back on top, because he's no longer going to get royalties from it. Anyways, you know what? You and I think, are on the exact same page here. I also give this film a 3 out of 5. It's very middle of the road. It's okay. There are certain elements that work well, but it's then brought back down because of the negative elements of it. With Annie Hall, at least, there were things that really stood out about the film. They didn't all work there either, but I think that one was far more creative. Woody Allen, I do think, is the better filmmaker. He's also the worser person, so make that what you will. So yeah, as of right now, putting biases aside, Annie Hall, A Beautiful Mind, and that's what we got there.
No grit, no glory.
Yeah.
Perhaps it is good to have a beautiful mind, but an even greater gift is to discover a beautiful heart.
A Beautiful Mind.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, that's all we have for you today. So until the next Oscar review, like always, stay safe out there and have a good one.